sometimes, you know, it's the unseen aspects of change that throw us the most. I didn't see it coming. And a lot of people, let's say people who get a medical diagnosis, right? They had no symptoms and suddenly a test comes back, they have cancer. And so it's the unseen changes that really can throw us and sometimes keep us from being able to take the steps to work with the change, how it's manifest. And so I want to turn it over to the both of you because you both work in the realms of seen and unseen change. So, but first I want to introduce you just a little bit. So this is Rachel Lang. Rachel Lang is a very talented, gifted astrologer and intuitive healer. And Amanda Foulger is a very talented and gifted shamanic healer and practitioner. And so if you could both briefly just describe how you work, what your approach is to the work that you do, and then we're going to dig into some of these questions. And then we're obviously going to open it up to questions.
Thank you, Sharon.
Yes.
In shamanism, cross-culturally, there are various differences, but there seem to be some big agreements. And one of these big agreements is that there are other realities than this one. Very broad strokes, we could say there's this reality, which we would call, Tolkien was right, middle world. And that this has a physical, a material aspect to it. It also has a non-ordinary aspect to it, too. We also have a world above and a world below. Again, classically, most shamanic cultures have kind of arrived at these ideas. And it's a kind of broad paradigm that I think is useful in navigating our lives. So we have a part of us that is non-ordinary, and we also have a part of us that is, you bet, you know, here's the chair, and you know, we're having this physical experience. So in shamanic practice, a lot of what we do is we learn how to connect with these non-ordinary resources in the above or the below worlds, which are not bad or good. Some different religious systems kind of decided one was good and one was bad, or whatever. Generally speaking, in shamanic practice, it's not so, but there are some cultures that, yep, they mainly want to do work in the lower world, or they mainly want to do work in upper world for resources that help them to deal with change. So it's a support system, is what you can think about. So shamanic practice, we look to making relationships, making connections in these non-ordinary realms that can be support for us. So we're interested in working with connections that are loving, wise, compassionate. So in a way you could say shamanic practice is all about making these kinds of connections and realizing there are resources for us that those non-ordinary connections we make can help us to have a connection here with the non-ordinary and the ordinary parts of ourselves that help us to navigate.
So astrology works under the principle of as above, so below. And the idea is that the cosmos is constantly giving us stories and storylines and plots and ways that we can relate ourselves and our human experiences here to a bigger picture and a more spiritual picture, if you will, so that we can see the significance of why things are happening to us in our physical bodies, why things are happening to us on a personal level and even on a societal level. And by understanding the symbols of astrology and understanding the connecting points and the way that they connect to certain points here on the earth, in our birth charts, in the charts of a country or a city, or even in the charts of a company, you can find out if there are changes coming, how can you prepare, what is the spiritual significance of those changes, and what can you do? What can you do to work with those changes so that your soul evolves and so that you are always living in service to your higher self, in service to why you came here to be born, and for each person that's different. So that we can understand that we are deeply connected. We're deeply connected to to solar systems, to galaxies, to these beautiful, bright, shining luminaries in our heavens that are constantly informing us of who we are and why we are and what we're here to do. So I think that there are ways to work with some of these elements in our natural environment and within our physical environment, our physical bodies, to prepare for unseen change, for things that we feel are starting to happen, but we can't say exactly what, you know? You can sort of sense it, you can feel it.